I'm a full-time real estate investor. That's what I do. So the nature of today's class is to teach you guys on how you guys can create wealth in real estate. Okay? So there's a lot of different ways here, but we're going to stay focused on short-term as well as long-term wealth building here. So the goal today is to teach you guys the secret of real estate. And it's very basic and it's very simple. Is locating properties. We all know, with real estate, it's all about location, location, location. And locating the right property in the right neighborhood with the right demographic, the right geographic, the right neighborhood where there's appreciation, there's value, there's things happening in the neighborhood. So teaching you guys how to actually locate the properties. And then once you locate the property, that's where you can make money with that property. Either short term, if you decide to wholesale it and flip it, or if you decide to buy it, rehab it, and then flip it for a larger gain. Okay. Long term in real estate is basically when you're buying something, you're going to hold it, you're going to rent it out for 2, 3, 4 years, and you're getting cash flow from it. Okay, so we'll talk about these three things today. The short term profits is basically, like we were talking, two methods. One is wholesaling, okay, where you get a property, you get it under contract. You can do that with a private seller. And then we'll go over some tools that I have here, spreadsheets and different ways where you can find these motivated sellers. And with the foreclosure market the way it is, there's a lot of people out there that are in distressed situations. Okay, so it's just a matter of how to get to them, how to talk to them, how to present to them, how to make them a fair offer, because nobody wants to be taken. Right? So that's what we're going to go over today. So, and then the other way of short term is basically buying, doing the actual rehab, and then actually fixing it up, and then selling it. And that normally takes about 8 to 13 weeks, with my experience. But some other people it may take a little bit longer. But it also depends on the size of the house. If it's a larger house, it's going to take longer. It also depends on the actual repairs. So you may have a property where it may need a total gut job, and that may take longer. But what I try to do is I try to look for a lot of homes where you don't need to do a total gut job, but you can actually get in and do the basic minimum: paint, carpet, new kitchen, new baths, maybe do some landscaping, add a deck or two, give it curb appeal, and then you can normally get in within 8 to 13 weeks, get in and get out. With this type of model here, you have to be very cautious and pay attention to your construction budget. Okay? So this is where a lot of investors actually end up losing a lot of money, because they don't stay within the construction budget and they end up getting a bad contractor. And having a good contractor on your team that's able to do the necessary work and give the product the right finishes is what's going to help sell the house. Right? So this is what I specialize in: buying and flipping. This is where you can end up making $30,000 to $40,000, $50,000 per property. Okay, but again, you gotta have the right contractor, you gotta have a budget, you gotta have timelines, and you gotta stick to those things. And if you do that, you can make, like I said, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, if not more. Just to give you an example, I bought a property in DC in December. It's under contract now. I bought it for $99,000. We put about $65,000 into it. We had it under contract for $275,000, and it went under contract within 3 days. So on that property, I'll end up probably making about $70,000, $80,000 after paying everybody out. So then, when you do this kind of model, you have two ways of doing it. You can use a hard money or a private money where you pay extra fees for that, or you can use your own cash. Okay, so it depends on your cash flow. If you go with the hard money, then you're going to have additional cost in that, which usually hard money is charged 6 points and then 16% with the 6-month term. Okay, so again, you got to know your budget. You got to have a good budget, because all those costs have to be added up properly, right? So here we'll just go with a quick example of a property. Let's say you end up buying it for $66,000, and you're going to have closing costs on the front end. Okay, about $1,500, and then let's say your rehab budget on this thing is $25,000. And then your total. Now this is based on a cash deal. Okay, So your total investment on this thing is going to be $92,500. And then let's say you sell it for $175. And then on the back end, when you sell it, you're going to have real estate commission, which is about $10,000, and then you're going to have closing costs for you as the seller, okay, about 2% normally. DC is a little bit higher than Prince George's County. And then you'll have your IRS, where Uncle Sam wants their money. So anything less than 12 months is considered a short-term hold. So where Uncle Sam wants 35% of that. Anything longer than 12 months is considered long-term, and it's about 17%. Okay. So in this particular deal, the total profit to the investor is $44,000. So you'll end up getting back your $44,000, which is what you made, and plus you get back your $66,000, which you put into the deal. And the fees you write off on your taxes. Okay. So this particular deal, again, 8 to 13 weeks, get in, get out. You notice our construction cost is $25,000. So normal rehab costs in normal projects are between $40,000 to $50,000, $55,000. Okay. Again, it goes back to the type of property. If it's a colonial versus a rambler versus a ranch, it depends the neighborhood. If you're in a B neighborhood, a D neighborhood, C neighborhood, you don't want to overbuild, and you never want to, have a Porsche on a Volkswagen lot, because people gonna come with Volkswagen money, and your house is gonna end up sitting, and you end up losing money. So again, you got to be careful with what kind of renovations you do, what kind of budget you have, and you always look at the exit first.